What's it like to scuba dive? Maybe I'm taking you along on that adventure. Or am I? How am I dry? How am I breathing? Because sadly, this is just a screen installation. But it's calming, right? You hear the sounds.
Just 1 second.
Right now you're part of a bait ball. Those fish swirling around us. Well, my head, your head. They're forming what's called a bait ball. I was in a real bait ball in the Galapagos. That salty ocean. Those fish swirled around me. Almost like a tornado hurricane. Where am I that has this kind of look and feel to it? Sort of fake ocean oasis amongst a busy, chaotic city. I'm actually in Orlando, Florida, flying out back home. After 4 seemingly years, but in actuality 4 months of solo backpacking through South America. So much has happened since my last vlog from Mancora, Peru. I really failed to find a stable Wi-Fi connection, 1080p vloggable Wi-Fi connection, that is, because it's just where I was at the time. I can update on many, many different things that have been happening throughout this backpacking trip. But I guess if we start from the most recent, partly why Florida, even though I've been to this state many times, has new adventures for me. This is the first time I'm in Florida as a certified scuba diver, advanced level, and Florida, just like a number of places, did disappoint in terms of the scuba diving. Scuba diving can be world class at some of the destinations that I dove at, including the state of Florida, including Areal del Cabo in Brazil, but just my luck. Galapagos was such a gift that I think the world decided to right itself by washing out the rest of my scuba, both in terms of completely wiping it out in Mancora and then just having okay dives in Brazil and Florida state. It is what it is. Sometimes life is what it is. And given what I've experienced on this backpacking trip, happy 106 countries. That's at least the country count now that I've added the rest of South America to my list. 102, Ecuador. 103, Peru. 104, Bolivia. 105, Brazil. 106, Paraguay. Those are the countries that I visited in order, accumulating a country count of 106. And in some ways, this has been my most ambitious, next to African bush camping, of the equivalent time 4 months, but through 13 countries. That trip I had more infrastructure support for many of the countries, but this one a lot less, because this was totally self-guided, totally for pretty much most of the trip. Ooh. The ocean's coming back. Ooh, and who do we have here? This is a manatee. Low behind me. Okay, since the manatee has graced us with its presence, let me recall that I actually snorkeled with wild manatees in Belize, Cape Colker, Chan, which is one of, I think, still the best snorkeling trips ever. Exceeded by only such illustrious destinations as the Galapagos. So getting back to what's happened since Mancora. Since Mancora, it's been Amazon jungle, all Amazon, all the time. A lot still of pelagic life. Starting back in Peru, I explained before that Peru was a gateway to Brazil in a cheaper way. I had basically boxed myself into a corner in Sao Paulo and Rio because going from there to Manaus, Brazil was going to be both expensive and less scenic. The better route, for the price of a bus or a plane from Sao Paulo or Rio to Manaus, I did the Peru Scenic. I essentially flipped a bus or plane into the cost covering my entire South Peru trek through Huacachina Desert, through Caracas, trekking through the Nazca mysterious lines, through the Colca Condor trek, through Ancora Rest, through to Iquitos, through to Leticia, Colombia, and Tabatinga, Brazil, through to Manaus, Brazil. Now, I skipped and fast-forwarded that leg to Manaus, but I'll go in detail now. Basically, Iquitos to Manaus, I first did the cheaper Pink Dolphin Lodge with local Amazonians, where we did encounter the Boto, the pink dolphin. And I swam with them in their territorial waters, although they were too murky to see underwater because the Amazon is filled. But still encountered, swam with them. And the dolphin life in the Amazon is abundant and glorious. The gray dolphins are always jumping out of the water, playing around. In fact, one of the best dolphin encounters I experienced in the Amazon was one jumping vertically out, just randomly there on the Amazon River in between Tabatinga and Manaus. In Iquitos, yes, I spotted the Boto, and the Boto still can be an elusive creature, but since I slept in the local eco lodge for 2 nights, 3 days, we had plenty of encounters with both the pink and gray dolphins. The pink dolphins are characterized by their flatter profile in both the fluke and in movements. The grays are much more rambunctious, jumping, playing, all around. Their sounds, they can be squeaky or silent, and they have no smell, unlike other pelagic life, penguins coming to mind. But after that, I roughed it with a rainbow gathering for 10 days in the Amazon jungle, sleeping on the ground a lot under a tarp because I never really knew what a rainbow gathering is, and I still am trying to figure that part out. Rainbow is a gathering of people for free in the Amazon. That's what we did. Just gathered. There's no leadership, but somehow we had 2 meals a day. A lot of time, very good vegan food. So I technically went on a vegan cleanse for 10 days. Then I journeyed down the Amazon River downstream from Iquitos, Peru to Manaus, Brazil, on the slow poor barcos. These slow ferries are such a treat and adventure because for the cheap price of anywhere from $5 to $10 a day, if you hang a hammock, there's your accommodation to sleep. They feed you 3 full course meals, Brazil side being mucho carne, Brazil beef, pork, chicken, fish and chips, cake, bolo, just everything that you can imagine having, we had on these slow barcos for $5 to $10 a night. Sleeping on a hammock, and then having my feet elevated up above my head and below, coupled with insect bites from the jungle, swelled my feet up to the point where, by the time I arrived in Florida to scuba dive, my feet bloated enough that I busted through my fins, and I'm still trying to recover. In fact, my feet look so bloated that the TSA agent here in Orlando forced me into the handicap line. That's always fun. First time in my life that I've looked so compromised. But it's still one of these things where, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Happy 106. It is what it is. I'm trying to make it home in a piece. I think I'll be able to. It's going to be tough, but I'm getting there slowly. My flight got delayed a little bit, which gave me the time to vlog from this installation, and that's where I'm going to leave it at this point. You know, it's been a pleasure, a dream, and sometimes a nightmare in South America. Those are my immediate thoughts heading home after 106 countries. I'm sure I will have more to think and say once I've had some good night's rest. Yeah, I'm out there right now, but I'm doing what I can do. Goodbye from the ocean. Another chapter in the books.